Sure, I doubt if you could use it all, but I'm sure you could use part of it, right? Or you can have it as for more information, see a link maybe. I'm not sure how, but I think that's what we could do. We'll talk about that.
Talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. So that way that we'll have more. Because I realize, so this is. Geez, I think I got the wrong one, but it's okay. It's the same PowerPoint. It's just that I took off Mi'kmaq Societies. I think the one I sent you just had Wolastoqey on it. So, because this is an older version, but that's okay. It's got the same content. It's just the title is different. So this is the evolution of Maliseet and Mi'kmaq societies. The reason we always present this for any presentation is so that people kind of have a timeline of where we were and where we are and where we're going and stuff, okay? So that's the circle. We do everything cyclical because for us in our language, we don't have a word for goodbye. We don't even have a word for death, you know. We have a word that says someone has stopped breathing or someone has went before us to the other side, you know, and so we don't have a word for death that means it's finality. Because for us, that's why we have a word for earth walk, which I'm at now. But I came from a spirit walk first. I'm in my earth walk. I have to go back to my spirit walk with honor, not be afraid of it. And so that's why everything is cyclical. So when we say goodbye, we don't mean it because we shouldn't be saying it because even if we don't see each other today around this table ever again from this day, our children may see each other and their children may see each other and their children. So it's that 7-generation thinking. And so we never want to lose sight of 7-generation thinking because that's what we have to do. That's why we don't have a word for goodbye. We always say, I will see you again, if not through my eyes, maybe through my child's eyes and your child's eyes. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it goes. That's why everything is in a cycle. So you see creation. We always start with creation. And of course, just to see the tabs, Age of Independence was pre-contact. So, and then of course contact. There's Age of Reciprocity. Yeah, can you do the full screen? Yeah, there should be a, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah, I know it is. There you go. Yep. All right. So, so you'll see the contact. The Age of Reciprocity occurred at contact. So right at the beginning, they didn't say stop your language. Don't do this. Don't do that. We're going to establish legislation against you and all of that. It wasn't like that at the beginning. There was reciprocal relationships. But you'll notice how short the period was. And stuff. So, and that was when treaties. There's actually another little tinier part where treaties, because reciprocity was no longer a combined effort. There was this sense of no, we want this, we want that, we want that. We're going to put you over here. No, we want more furs. You know, so the relationships started to affect it. So reciprocity was very short-lived. And so that's why treaties needed to be signed because, okay, how do we protect our future generations too for fishing and hunting and our ways of life? And so Age of Destruction began. Not just destruction of land, but also destruction of our societies. And then that was pre-Confederation. And then of course, Confederation tried to put into law how to do the assimilation process. You know, that's when languages weren't allowed, your ceremonies were outlawed. What I have here, I would have been arrested, you know, earlier because I'm not supposed to show these things. I wouldn't have had permission to get birch bark or the porcupine quills or anything like that, you know, at that time because it was against the law to do that because they were used in the forest for making tall masts for their ships and everything. So we were limited to what we could use the forest for or anything. So an Age of Destruction post-Confederation, this is when it's still happening, you know. So then contemporary times, which we're talking about today. So we feel we're in the age of healing and revival. Just by the session is a revival, you know, because we're sharing the information and we're going to be healing from it, all of us. So if you don't mind doing the next slide, Chris, yeah. So these are just Age of Independence. So these are just some quick things. And like I said, I gave this to Lee. It will be online. So Yeah, so, yeah. So independent, you can go ahead and keep clicking until that's there. So independent, self-sufficient, and autonomous nation. So you see that regalia? If you guys know Chicky from St. Mary's, is our counselor. He has, but he refuses to wear it because he said to him, because I told him, if you're going to be wearing the regalia, I'm loaning you, because I had this made, not the full length one, but I just have it to, I have the man's regalia. And this was made in 1912, and this was from an elder from Kingsclear First Nation. And so when you cover your head, it's spiritual knowledge, and it's the same way where we wear our peaked hats. It's thinking beyond the physical. It's spiritual knowledge. And so the churches have the steeples, and it's that same shape, so it's spiritual knowledge, and stuff. So that's why I think why we were able to accept some of the Christian values and stuff, because we saw our own culture within that. Not all, but some. And of course, culturally based institutions. We did have an education system. We did have all of those systems. We had a different form of education, as I talked to you before in that first presentation I did, the conflict. We did have our educational institutions. We had our medicine. We had our ways of healing. We had, our deaths. Everything. We had those institutions, because when you listen to and read history books, historical accounts say we didn't have anything. That it's a good thing they came and saved us, So we have to make sure that we know that we already had those culturally based institutions. Institutions met the needs of Wolastoqey, Mi'kmaq nations, cultural, social, political, education, and economic. All of those realms are important. So even how we gathered, how we made decisions, it wasn't through elections like they do today. The next one? Yeah, just go real quick. And this is some interesting information that people can actually research on for a later note. So on June 24th, 1497, John Cabot, the Beothuk, and so for us, we have language that's similar to the Beothuks. The word for girl, Bilsquassis, means young girl. That sq part actually comes from the Beothuk language as well. And actually, one of the things that we do when we do our ceremonies is we don't allow people that come to fast to bring mosquito spray. We use bear fat, and we use red ochre. And that's why they were called the Red Painted Indians, because what they did when the, I forget the group that came, the English group. Yeah, no, it was way before that. Way before that. I want to say they're from Sweden, but Vikings. Thank you. Yeah, when the Vikings came, what they did is they would show themselves on the shore, and the Vikings said, "There they are," And so then they would wait for them to get close, but they already had their red paint on and their bear fat, and they would run through really heavily mosquito-infested forests, and the Vikings weren't prepared for that. So they didn't go very far into the woods and stuff. And so that's what we use today for our, just using the bear fat. There's something about using bear fat that it's just as good to keep mosquitoes away from you. And of course, you have to watch your diet. So, June 24th, 1604, Champlain came to Wolastoq, and he didn't name it Wolastoq. He called it Fleuve Saint Jean de Baptiste. And then when the English came afterwards, the English said that's too long of a name for a river, so let's shorten it to St. John, and that was their compromise. Again, French and English. There was no, Wolastoqey or Mi'kmaq, consultation. So contributions made by our people. I actually almost brought that, but I just thought I only have a day. But I do have a poster that I don't know. It was supposed to be in the public school systems, but at that time the posters were made, and it was because there was a movement here back in the early 90s about Anglophone and Francophone nations. And so the schools were promoting French and English contributions. So we complained and says, whoa, wait a minute. You're teaching every child that there's no contributions made by Mi'kmaq or Wolastoqey. So we designed a poster with Elder Charles in it, actually. And we had an artist who's now the chief at Madawaska Maliseet, Patricia Bernard. and she did a poster for us with contributions. So I do have that. I just don't know how. You might have to take a picture of it or send Luke over and he can take it and then somehow put it into, because I think that's important for this module as part of history, is to include Mi'kmaq Wolastoqey contributions to society. So I won't go into it because it's in the poster. Trade relations established between Wolastoqey Mi'kmaq nations and European settlers. And that's how the word Maliseet came to be. When the French came first and were trading with the Mi'kmaq, then what happened is my people, my ancestors came over with a trade as well. And of course the French says, well, who are those? You know, and of course they says Malasijic, you know, Malasijic meaning slow speakers. And so instead of saying Malasijic, it came to be called Maliseet, but they spelled it with a C because of French influence. And then today it's with an S for English influence, and that's how Maliseet came to be. But we're trying to say, we're Wolastoqiyik. Give us our identity back, you know, let us call ourselves Wolastoqiyik. So we have a generation that are still calling themselves Indian, because that's the term, because of Columbus, you know, but we're trying to make the next generations not use the word Indian, which is in another document I sent to Lee, and it's terms and concepts that are used by European settlers on how they address us, you know, Indians and, you know, all of those. So yeah, next one please, yeah. So we traded, yeah, with them. So this is just pre-Confederation intercolonial system, established policy of genocide adopted by colonial authorities. I know people say genocide is a strong word, but think about it. It was we were culturally attacked, linguistically attacked, socially attacked, you know, humanely attacked and stuff, so the word fits. Sometimes people think it doesn't fit because of what happened, you know, in Germany, but it does fit. Measures adopted to achieve